detailed and basics of the topics which are directly related to your valuation, whatever asset class it may be. So, as we have already discussed, there are three approaches to valuation. First one is income approach, then market approach, and cost approach. And depending upon the situation, you may have to use these approaches as per your situation, as per the requirement of the valuation. First of all, we will try to learn cost approach to valuation. So what we do in cost approach, there are two things involved in. If we take the example of real estate property,
Yes, sir.
there are two things involved in it.
Sir,
One part is land.
hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you sharing screen, sir?
Sir, I will just share the screen. You
Okay.
just hold on. Is it visible to you?
Yes, yes. Yes.
So, first of all, we will discuss about the cost approach. So, as far as cost approach is concerned, it is a basic approach which, as a valuer, you has been using. Now, we will discuss about the basics of this cost approach and how it works basically. As you know, the two things, as far as real estate is concerned, there are two things which are basics of valuation. First one is land, and the second thing is building. So here, what we will do, we will assume them to be separate entity. First of all, we will calculate the cost of land, and then we will calculate the cost of the building. So as far as cost of the land, so basically this cost approach is a combination of two approaches. One is market approach and other is cost approach. So as far as the land is concerned, it is market approach which is to be used for calculating the value of the land. And for building, you have to find the depreciation or depreciated value of the building. And then we will combine these two values to calculate the theoretical value of the property or mathematical value of the property. So in this method, both land part of the real estate and building part or infrastructure part is considered. In other approaches, we generally take them as one unit. They are not their value is not calculated separately, but in case of cost approach, their values are calculated separately and then added up to calculate the mathematical value of the property. As far as syllabus is concerned, here you have to learn the various methods of cost estimates for building. Then the main thing involved in this approach is life and age of the building. As far as life is concerned, there are three different types, basically economic life, physical life, and legal life of the building. And then we have to discuss or learn what are the factors which affect the life of the building. Then, as far as age is concerned, we have to discuss total life, age, and future life of the building. Three things are important while you calculate the depreciation or depreciated value of the building. Then, for calculating depreciation, there are many methods for calculating depreciation. So we will discuss various methods of computation of depreciation. Then functional, technological, and economic obsolescence we will discuss. Then we will use all these things to calculate the depreciated replacement cost of the building. After adding the depreciated replacement of the building and land cost of asset, which will give you mathematical value, then we will discuss about the supply and demand aspect of the property and other factors which may affect the value of the property. That will give you the final reconciled value of the property. So here, as in the question, syllabus, it is also given that you have to calculate the land value by market approach and building value by cost estimation method for owner occupied bungalows, factories, and public building, etc., for which you have to find out the value. As far as methods of cost estimates of the building is concerned, there are many methods which you can use for calculating the value of the cost of construction of the building. Preliminary cost estimate, plinth area cost estimate, cube rate cost estimate, approximate quantity method cost estimate, then detailed cost estimate, revised cost estimate, supplementary cost estimate, and annual repair cost estimate. There may be some other methods of calculating the cost of construction of the building. As an architect or as an engineer, you know about these methods. Even then, we will discuss in brief how these methods work. As far as preliminary cost method is concerned, here we generally calculate the approximate value of the project based upon the cost of land, cost of roads, electrification, water supply, and cost of each building, etc. Whenever you are calculating the value of the building, that is just preliminary cost, which will be the basis of your further estimation of the cost of construction. This is just preliminary cost. Then next is Plinth area cost estimate. So this is the basic method which you use for calculating the value or cost of construction of the building while you are doing valuation. As far as the plinth area rate is concerned, each state public works department or central public departments, they issue schedule of rates from time to time. Generally, they are issued annually or they may be issued after 2 to 3 years. So in this case, only the per square unit of the cost of construction is given for specific type of building with specific specifications, for particular specifications, and generally for a particular height. And some modification factors are also given if the height changes. So we generally as a valuer use this plinth area rates of the respective public works department. So here the basic thing is that we are using plinth area of the property and plinth area cost as given by the state or central public works department schedule of rates. So that gives you the replacement cost of new building as on today. But the problem is that in most of the cases when there is variation of height as compared to the values given in the schedule of rates for a particular height, then the problem arises. And of course, these there is written in all the schedule of rate that these are for rough cost estimate. They are not for exact estimation. It is particularly written in almost all the plinth area rates that these are just for rough cost estimation. And then problem arises when the height different or there are many open areas in a particular building. So for better cost of construction calculation, we may use cube rate calculations, cube rate value. In cube rate cost estimate, all the three components means length, width, breadth, and height of the building is considered. And based upon the cubical or cube rate, we can calculate the cost of construction of the building. That is replacement cost of new building. Of course, this is also a rough cost estimate. It will not give you exact. Even estimate means you are just estimating, not you are calculating the exact cost. But all these methods, they are generally for rough cost estimate. Even approximate quantity cost estimate. So there are certain thumb rules with which you can calculate the quantities of cement, brick, steel, etc. And with the help of that, you can calculate the approximate quantity required for the building for each item. And from there, you can calculate the estimated cost of construction. Again, a rough cost estimate. And then Central Board of Central Building Research Institute, Roorkee, they have given certain equations for calculation of approximate quantity of material and labor. And you can use that quantities for calculating the estimate also. And you can put these equations in an Excel format from where you can easily do the calculation. But mind it, these are all rough costs estimates. Then detailed cost estimate. So as far as the detailed cost estimate, you know, as an engineer or as an architect, you have learned this so detailed cost estimate in your engineering course or architectural course. So there are two methods, long wall, short wall method and center line method for calculating the quantity of materials and from the schedule of rates given by the respective PWD, you can calculate the cost of construction. And this method gives you the estimate which is very nearer to the actual cost of construction. Though it will not exactly, it will not give you the exact value, but it will give you as near as possible this method of detailed cost estimate. So in this case, you have to use all the data in the form of you must know the general specifications of the building, detailed specification of the buildings to be construction. You should have the drawing plans as elevations, sections, foundation details, structural details for preparing the detailed cost estimate. And of course, you should have the schedule of rates as prescribed by the PWD department of your state. And then comes the revised cost estimates. These are generally used in government works when the cost is increased by 5% during the execution of the project. If the cost increased by more than 5%, then cost it has to be submitted to get sanction from the competent authority. Maybe that during the execution of the project, let us suppose the cost of steel increases by 10 to 15% and cost of other materials also increased by a large margin. So that will affect the cost of construction. So in that case, a revised cost estimate has to be prepared. And then supplementary cost estimate. So if during the execution of the project, it comes into your consideration that some other infrastructure, some other additions have to be done in the project which were not there in the initial stage. And for that additional work, you need to prepare supplementary estimate to get it sanctioned from the competent authority. And next one is annual repair cost estimate. So this is also basically for government departments. Most of the government departments have their own construction wings. So they prepare annual cost estimate, means the buildings or other infrastructures which are under them, they have to prepare that what maintenance are to be required to be done during the next financial years in the buildings of their department. They prepare annual cost estimate and take permission or sanction from the competent authority to carry out these repairs. So these are different types of estimates with which you must be conversant with. You may need to prepare estimate according to the need, but mostly at least you should be conversant with the detailed cost estimate and Plinth area rate cost estimate, which you need for your day-to-day work. Next are life of the building. So life of the building can be categorized into three main types: economic life of the building, physical life of the building, and legal life of the building. So what is economic life of the building basically? So you take the example of a car. When you buy a new car, it requires least maintenance. As the car size goes on increasing, after some times, a stage will reach when it will be practical for you to buy a new car instead of spending a lot of money for maintaining it. So when this situation reaches that you need lot of maintenance, and that maintenance is of such an amount that you can buy a new car, and if you buy a new car, that will be more viable for you. Similarly, in the case of building, when you construct a new building, it requires least maintenance, but as the age of the building increases, a time will come that the cost of maintenance will be very high, and it will be viable if you demolish the building and construct a new building. So when we reach at that stage, of course, building can still be used. It is not that it cannot be used. Still, it can be used, but you require a lot of maintenance. So at that stage, we will say that economic life of the building has come to an end. So the period during which building remains economically viable and contribute to the property's value, that life is called economic life of the. So it will depend upon the market, upon functional obsolescence and economic conditions. So it not only the maintenance, it is also functional obsolescence or other types of obsolescence that may affect the life of the building. You know, with the passage of time, the design of the architectural design of the building, the amenities which you have provided in the building, they become obsolete after a certain period of time. So the period during which the building remains economically viable, first thing. Second thing, it is contributing to the property's value. Means if the property's value start declining, even though it is useful, still you can live in it. It is not that you cannot live in a building which is whose economical life has come to an end. It can still be used, but when it stops contributing to the property's value, instead of increasing, the property's value start declining because of its age, because of its condition, because of its obsolescence, then we call that economic life of the building has come to an end. So building might be in good physical condition, but no longer be economical viable if it does not meet the current market demands, or if maintaining it becomes too costly. So this is the condition. You must know when the economic life of the building will come to an end. If it does not meet the current market demand, or if maintaining it becomes too costly. And the next is physical life. Physical life means the building has deteriorated beyond repair. So we cannot use the building even after repairing it. So it will depend upon the construction quality, maintenance, environmental conditions, and the material you have used. So the physical life will depend upon these factors. So depending upon the maintenance of the building and other factors, the physical life of the building varies from 50 to 100 years. course, it will depend upon the type of the building also. If it is a temporary building, temporary shed, it will have is in between 20 to 30 years. Or purely temporary structure may has a life of 5 to 10 years on. We are talking about general buildings. And next is legal life. So what is legal life? So legal life is generally used in the case of leasehold property. Or maybe due to conditions stipulated in zoning laws, building codes, and other regulations. The period during which a building is legally allowed to exist based on zoning laws, building codes, etc. For example, a building may be required to be demolished if it no longer complies with the updated seismic safety regulations. So, or in the case of leasehold property, when the lessee has to return the building to the lessor, or it is stipulated in the lease deed that the lessee will demolish the building and return the land back to the lessor, even though building is still in a very good condition, but it has to be demolished. So we say that its legal life has come to an end. Or in case there are zoning changes, or in there, if there are certain changes in the, as you know, in today's scenario, buildings have to be earthquake resistant, especially in the seismic zones. So if the building is not complying with the zoning seismic requirement, it has to be demolished and reconstructed as per the seismic requirements. So as you know, government has asked for seismic analysis of the existing buildings, especially in the metro cities. So in that case, we say that legal life of the building has come to an end. Then what are the factors which affect the life of the building? First one is quality of construction. So better the quality of construction, better will be the more will be the life of the structure. So it will depend, quality will depend upon the material we use and workmanship. These two things will decide the quality of construction of the building. And then upkeep and maintenance. And if you are carrying regular maintenance at regular intervals, that will increase the life of the building. And there are certain types of upkeep. One is regular upkeep, which you have to regularly maintenance, and there are certain preventive measures which you have to do to increase the life of the building. And then conditions of the environment. So environmental conditions also affect the life of the building. If it is in a very damp environment, if it is nearer to the seashore where the sea waves are affecting the life of the building. So it will depend upon the conditions of climate, and of course in case of natural disasters. So if the buildings are not constructed earthquake resistant, if the buildings are not constructed to save them from floods or storm, their lifespan will be shortened in particular areas where there are chances of floods, where there are chances of storms, where there are chances of earthquake. So these are certain factors. And then how you use the building. Uses also affect the life of the building because wear and tear will depend upon how you use the building. It will depend upon the quantity and kind of tenants. Buildings with high traffic volumes will need more upkeep. For example, in commercial building or industrial buildings, they require more upkeep, more maintenance. And then technological progress. You know, with the technological progress, you can use certain methods to improve the longevity and effectiveness of the buildings. So there are nowadays many materials are available in the buildings which can be used as a long lasting construction materials. And then economic elements. So it will depend upon the, of course, upkeep and upgrading. It will depend upon the economic viability. If you have to upkeep or upgrade the building, it will depend upon the economic viability. Means if you carry out the upkeep or upgrading, and you have to check that the amount you have spent upon upgrading or upkeeping the building, and if you sell the building, will it be viable or it will you get it returned if you spend some amount on the upgrading of the building, and if you sell after upgrading the building, will it be able to get back the amount you have spent upon upgrading? That is the important thing. And then, of course, legal and regulation factors such as building codes, zoning rules. So if the building is not complying with seismic requirement, it has to be demolished, even though it may be physically possible. Then how you have to estimate the total life, age, and future life of the building, because these things are important from calculation of property valuation. For accurate calculation of valuation of the property, you need to know the total life, actual life, effective age, and remaining economic life of the building. So total life, what is total life? This refers to the expected lifespan of the building from the time of construction to the point where it is no longer usable. So maybe the physical life may be called as the total life of the building. From the time of construction to the point where it is considered that it is no longer usable, that is called total life of the building. So actual life of the building is a chronological age of the building. Calculate from the year it was constructed and to the present year. So this is important for calculation of depreciation for your building, the actual life and total life.
Sir,
And then yes, sir.
is it applicable for plant and machinery also?
Right?
But
Sir,
actually is
we will deal with all the terms
act,
and conditions.
yeah, actually is
Yeah, same question. Yeah,
this
same
this
question
is
from my side also.
yeah, because for land and building it may be like
Sir, we will discuss in as the time comes. Just hold on. This is just not the end of the session. We are just concentrating. And then effective ways. Effective ways will depend upon if the building is in very good condition. If the maintenance is very good, its current condition, its utility. So effective ways will depend upon the current condition and utility of the building rather than its actual age. So it will depend upon the maintenance, renovation, and overall upkeep of the building. And the remaining economic life, this is the period during which the building is expected to remain economically viable. It is a period during which the building is expected to remain economically viable. So it is calculated by subtracting the effective age from the total age of the building. From the total age, you have to subtract the effective age of the building. जी then method of estimating the future life. You can determine the future life of the building from the condition of the building structure components system by assessing the by analyzing the by inspecting the condition of the structural component systems and overall condition of the building. From there you can estimate the future life of the building. Then from the historical data, historical records, architectural surveys, they can provide insights into the longevity of similar buildings. And with the help of technological tools. So modern technological tools like geoinformation system and building information modeling, they can offer detailed data on building conditions and help to predict future performance. And another method is you can get it from market analysis. From the market area, there the building against, you can understand the economic life cycle of the buildings. For instance, residential structures have economical life of around 40 to 50 years if no maintenance is done. So in this way, you can calculate the future life of the building. So these are the basic things about the life of the building and basic how to calculate the age, life, etc. If you have any doubts, you can ask. कोई डाउट है इनमें तो आप पूछ सकते हो जो अभी तक पढ़ा.
Construction, yeah, my one construction. That
जी.
is a whole RCC construction of apartment buildings.
Sir, basically, there is no hard and fast rule for age or life of the building. There are certain ages are given in books that RCC building will have a life of 90 to 110 years. But it will depend upon many other conditions. How you maintain the building and in which area it is constructed. Maybe it during the lifetime it is affected by a natural disaster. Maybe the soil over which it has been constructed, that was a having poor load bearing capacity, and it has undergone differential settlement. So you cannot say that each and every building has the same life. So it is to be assessed from your site inspection. You have to assess the physical condition of the existing building of you which you are doing the valuation. Otherwise, if you are doing from examination point of view, then you have to calculate it from the data given, and you will assume that the things which are given, they are correct. Otherwise, now it may be load bearing structure, it may be framed structure, it may be a combined load bearing and framed structure. You cannot have the same age for that. Any other doubt? कोई और डाउट है तो पूछ. Anybody having any doubt? Next is depreciation. So what is basically? So depreciation is gradual exhaustion of usefulness of the property. With the passage of time, the building will gradually exhaust its usefulness. Or it may be defined as decrease or loss in the value of the property, basically. If you take it from valuer's point of view, it is basically loss in the value of the property with the passage of time because of structural deterioration, life, wear and tear, decay, and obsolescence. These are certain factors which affect the depreciation part of the building. Generally, we calculate annual depreciation, means per year depreciation is calculated by using different formulas, and from there you can calculate the total depreciation. That will be total depreciation will be equal to age of the property multiplied by annual depreciation. So basically, depreciation is slow during the initial years of the building, and in the middle life of the building, the depreciation is at a higher rate, and again during the last stages of its life, it again slows down. So it is practically how the depreciation affect the value of
This
the building.
concept is common for all the asset classes. It is common for land and building. If the asset is building, it is common for plant and machinery. The asset is machinery. It is common for SFA also if the asset is related to SFA. The concept of depreciation is common for all the asset classes.
But the beginning of land doesn't have any depreciation.
जी सर.
regarding land doesn't have depreciation. No? Only building we have in a depreciation.
Ji, sir. So as far as depreciation is concerned, it is the building part which depreciation is not to be applied to the land part. Of course, the value of the land may increase or decrease with the passage of time depending upon the other conditions, not because of depreciation. There may be certain other causes which may increase or decrease the cost of land. So I think depreciation is clear to you. What is depreciation? So now we will discuss about the different methods of depreciation. Though there are many methods of depreciation, we will discuss about the three main methods. One is straight line method. Second one is reducing balance method, which is also called constant percentage method or linear method. And the third one is sinking fund method. So first is straight line method. So first thing you must know, we have already discussed scrap value and salvage value. So what is salvage value? Anybody?
Life of an asset
Usefulness.
after is useful life.
Usefulness.
Residual
Functionality remains.
value after the uses of
Residual
the
values.
residual value.
So basically, salvage value is when the economic life of the building has come to an end, it can still be used. It can still be used, but its economic life has come to an end, and that value is called salvage value of the property. And value of the property, when its physical life has come to an end, it cannot be used anymore. Then we call it scrap value.
Yes.
So there are two things. One is salvage value and second one is scrap value. But for theoretical purposes, for calculation purposes, we assume both to be equal. Though they are not equal practically, but for calculation purposes, generally they are assumed to be equal. But in case of plant and machinery, they are not equal. Because if the different parts of the machinery are sold differently, that will come out as scrap value, even in the case of building also. So basically, scrap value is when you sell the different parts of the building or different parts of the asset, maybe plant and machinery. As in the case of a car, let us suppose you sell the tire to someone else, engine part to someone else, and other components of the car to someone else. You will get more value, more in return from that. Similarly, in the case of building, if it is a load-bearing building with the girder and batten roofing, and you sell girder and batten separately, old doors separately, and other components separately, you will get higher returns. So it will depend upon the situation to situation. But for theoretical purposes, we will assume them to be equal in our calculation. So one thing is clear, whatever the condition is, you will get at least salvage value or scrap value at the end of the life. Let us suppose the life of the building is 60 years. even if the building is affected by natural disaster, let us suppose building was constructed in 2024, it has still not has got the age of 1 year, but it is affected by earthquake and it cannot be used anymore. Its economic life has come to an end because it has been badly affected by the earthquake. Then what will you get? You will get at least salvage value. So salvage value is available for you from 0 to 60 years. Whether it live for 60 years or not, that is immaterial. So you will get at least salvage value. So how much the building value will depreciate during its lifetime? How much the building value will depreciate during its lifetime? That will be original cost minus salvage value. You know this thing, how it comes. You understand this thing? That even if the building lasts for 1 year, it will have its value. Salvage value will not depreciate. If we assume that 10% as salvage value, it will remain 10% throughout its life. It will not depreciate, we will assume. So how much it will depreciate? It will be original cost minus scrap or salvage value. Is it clear? Its numerator part is clear? How it comes original cost minus scrap value. And then what will be the depreciation per year? Let us suppose original cost as 100% and salvage value as 10%. So total depreciation will be 100 minus 10, 90%. So if the life of the building is 60 years, how much depreciation will be there per year?
1.5%.
1.5.
1.5. How you calculate that is 90 upon 60.
90 upon 60, yes.
So it is 90 upon 60. That is
Yes.
original cost minus scrap cost or salvage value divided by life in years. So you have the formula. In short, you can write C minus S upon S, where C is original cost, S is salvage value, and N is total life of the building. That is depreciation per year. That is how much depreciation will be in a single year, which you calculate as 1.5%. And if the life of the building, if the age of the building is 20 years, then what will be the total depreciation? Depreciation per year is 1.5%. And depreciation in 20 years will be
20 into
1.5. 30.
Okay. So in this way, you can calculate the depreciation based upon straight line method. You can use it for any type of asset, may it be building, may it be plant and machinery, or whatever type of asset you are using. In case of plant and machinery, life will be 5 to 20 years at the most. Otherwise, other things will remain the same. Any doubt about this method?
Sir, is there any guideline for the salvage value or scrap value?
So, sir, there is no guideline. No book has given any salvage, or it will depend upon the type of construction. For load-bearing structures, we generally take it to be 10%.
Okay,
And
sir.
in the case of industrial structures, where you have steel structures, you will get more value for steel structures.
But if it is a case of a very old building with open foundation and masonry structure,
So that will depend upon the type of construction also, sir. It is for you to decide how much salvage it will get. Basically, no particular value has been given. But generally, in the books, they are using 10% for the load-bearing structures and up to 40% for steel structures.
okay, sir. Thank you.
So, but there is no hard and fast rule. It is for you to decide for that particular type of building. This is where your expertise will come into play. Okay, this is a first method, which is straight line method. Second method is a linear method, which is also called a reducing balance method, or it is also called constant percentage method. So why it is called, we will discuss in the examples that will make the things clear. As of now, you must understand that linear method, constant percentage method, reducing balance method, or sometimes it is also called written down method, written down value method. These are all the one and the same thing. Hanji, any doubt? So you have done one thing. You have calculated the formula for future value. You have calculated the value formula for future value. What was that formula? Future value formula. What was future value formula?
PV of 1 plus R whole to, power
1
n.
plus R raised to power n.
Yes.
So basically, what is the difference between depreciation and compound interest? In the compound interest, value goes on increasing. The value of your money goes on increasing. That was why you are having 1 plus R raised to power n. But in depreciation, it is opposite. Your value goes on decreasing. So here, formula will remain the same, but only difference will be, instead of R, we are using P. Now see, instead of plus R, we are having minus P. Formula is same, that is of future value. Here, instead of increasing the value, we are having value decreasing every year. So the basic formula will remain that of future value formula, but instead of positive R, it will be minus BP is percentage of depreciation, which we will assume or will be given to your in the question. That is depreciation per year. Depreciation percentage per year. So how it comes? See, its derivation is same. Instead of adding, here we will be subtracting. Let us suppose C is the original cost or replacement cost of new building. S is scrap value or salvage value. N is life of the property in years. And P is constant percentage of depreciation. So value at the end of first year will be of C. There you were adding 1 plus R. There you were adding 1 plus R. Your increase or your interest will be R. You were adding R. But here, depreciation or the value at the end of first year will be original cost minus P into C. Same formula which we same way. So value at the end of first year will be C into, if you take C as a common, it will be C into 1 minus P. And then again, at the end of second year, now the depreciation will be applied on this value. Now the depreciation will be applied on C into 1 minus P. So it will be C into 1 minus P minus, this is the value which was at the start of the second year, minus C into 1 minus P multiplied by depreciation P. So at the end of second year, this will be the value. Because at the end of second year, the value depreciation will be applied out C into 1 minus. And if you rearrange it, you will get C into 1 minus P square. And similarly, value at the end of nth year, it will be C into 1 minus P raised to power n. So this is the basic formula. Clear? Any doubt about this formula?
Sir, here is one addition.
Ji.
This calculation of P is equal to 1 minus S upon C raised to 1
वो
by
सर
n.
अभी आएगा चिंता न करो.
Yes.
अभी तो हम शुरू किए रहे यार. सारी everything will be clear to you. तो main aim is to make the things clear to you. Basic आपको समझ आ गया एक बार कि ये कैसे आया, फिर कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, फिर कभी आपको याद नहीं भूलेगा. ये करवाने का ऐसे क्वेश्चन कभी भी एग्जाम में नहीं आएगा, इस तरीके का डेरिवेशन नहीं आएगी. सिर्फ आपको ये बात एक बार दिमाग में बैठ के फिर आप कभी भी इसको भूल नहीं पाओगे. ठीक है. नाउ सी, this is value of the property at the end of n year. If this is value of the property at the end of n year, ये किसके बराबर होनी चाहिए? At the after its life come to an end, if its physical life come to an end, what will you get?
Scrap it.
So this value should be equals to,
Scrap.
this value should be equal to scrap value or salvage value. Okay. So C into 1 minus P should be equals to S. Or you can have, if you calculate P from here, it will be P is equals to 1 minus S upon C raised to power 1 upon N. So if scrap value is given to you, you can calculate the value of P in this way. So you can calculate the percentage of depreciation is equals to 1 minus S upon C raised to power 1 upon N. So basically, this is the value of the property at the end of its life. But when you go for doing valuation, you have to calculate the value for a particular age of the building. If the life of the building is 60 years, so this is the value of the building at the end of 60 years. But when you go for doing valuation, let us suppose value age of the building is, instead of 60 years, age is 20 years. So now the value of the building at the end of any years, let us suppose m years. So it will be equal to C into 1 minus P raised to power m. Instead of n, you will be having m. Means अगर बिल्डिंग की एज m years है जब आप वैल्यूएशन करने के, तो अगर आपने तब वैल्यू निकालनी है बिल्डिंग की, तो कैसे निकालोगे? फार्मूला में क्या होगा? n की जगह पे क्या आ जाएगा? m आ जाएगा. ठीक है. So this is also called written down value. So another thing you can do is, you can put the value, see in the formula, you can put the value of P here. P की वैल्यू आपके पास पता है 1 minus S upon C raised to power 1 upon N. You can put the value of P in this formula. So if you put the value of P in this formula, you will get value at the end of m year that will be equals to C into S upon C raised to power m upon N.
Mhm.
So this is maybe you may use this formula, but this formula is applicable if the value of S is known to you, or in case value of if the salvage value is 0, as in the case of insurance, you take the value of salvage value as 0. So then this formula cannot be used. This formula cannot be used because S becomes 0. If S becomes 0, value will become 0. So this formula has a limitation. In case of salvage value is 0, you cannot use this formula. You can use this formula only when there is some salvage value. So this method is also called declining balance method, or written down value method, or constant percentage method. So generally we will be using this formula C into 1 minus P raised to power 5 in most of the cases. Of course, if salvage value is given, then you can use this formula. Otherwise, you will assume certain percentage of P and will calculate the value. This is at the end of an year. If you are to calculate, you can use it C into 1 minus P raised to power n. And the third method is sinking fund method. So in sinking fund method, you have to use two things. One is sinking fund coefficient, and second thing is amount of ₹1. You have done two formulas. One is IC and second was S. There are two formulas you have done in the first lecture, very first lecture day. We have done this formula IC and S. What is IC? IC is sinking fund coefficient.
Mhm.
And S is, so in case of sinking fund, what we assume? Sinking fund fact, what we assume? We assume that we deposit a certain amount in the bank. Let us suppose value of the building or value of the asset as on today, maybe building, maybe any asset, plant and machinery. Let us suppose the value of a machine as on today is 50 lakh, and life of the machine is 20 years. Then what sinking fund will do? First thing, we will assume that the value of this machine will remain 50 lakh even after 20 years. Means at the end of 20 years, you will be able to buy a new machine, new similar machine for 50 lakh. Though practically it is not possible, the cost of the machine will increase with the passage of time. But these are certain accounting methods. We have to assume it like this, that we have to assume that cost of that machine will remain 50 lakh even after 20 years. So what sinking fund will do? The owner will deposit a certain amount in the bank. Owner will deposit a certain amount in the bank so that he is able to get an amount of 50 lakh at the end of 20 years. Let us suppose from that machine, the person is getting 50,000 every year as an income. From that income, he will deposit a certain amount, say 20,000 in the bank every year, so that he is able to get an amount of 20 lakh at the end of its life. That is called salvage value. Now see, salvage value is to be calculated during the total life of the building. Salvage value is to be calculated during the total life of the building. But sinking fund method of depreciation, what it says, let us suppose you are doing valuation on the fifth year of the asset. So first thing is that this method not take into consideration the usefulness of the asset. Its usefulness in the both of the first two methods, usefulness of the asset was taken into consideration, but this method will not take into consideration that how much usefulness of the asset has consumed. So this method allows recovery of capital. So when you are depositing certain amount in the bank, it means there will be recovery of the asset at the end of its life period. But in both the first two methods, there was no such provision of recovery of the asset. So the method here is basically to calculate the sinking fund coefficient for the whole life of the building and the amount of rupee which has been deposited in the bank at the age when you are doing the valuation. You multiplied both of them. You calculate the annual sinking fund at suitable rate of interest for the total life of the building. That is sinking fund coefficient. And you calculate this is the formula for IC. You know this is equals to 1 R upon 1 plus R raised to power n minus 1. That was 1 upon S. And second, then to find the accumulated amount by depositing an annual amount of sinking fund at suitable rate of interest for the age of the building. So for S, you have to use age of the building, and for IC, you have to use total life of the building. This you have to remember. So it will be clear when we will be taking an example. So another see these formulas. If you check, let us suppose if the दोनों फार्मूलों को ध्यान से देखो, they are practically opposite to each other. This denominator is in the numerator, this denominator is in the numerator is in the denominator, and the formula is IC into S. और अगर ये दोनों वैल्यू सेम होगी तो फिर तो वैल्यू 1 ही आएगी हर बार. अगर प्रैक्टिकली देखे जो फार्मूला, ये दोनों एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट है, और डेप्रिसिएशन का फार्मूला यू हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई IC इंटू एस. अगर IC इंटू एस करोगे तो हर बार 1 ही आना चाहिए. You will get the answer 1 when you multiplied IC into S. So that is why you have to take different value of R in both. In the case of IC, you will be taking remunerative rate, which is generally less 3.5 to 3 to 5%. And in S, you will be taking remunerative rate, which is higher, more than 6%. अगर दोनों के केसेस में परसेंटेज सेम ले लोगे तो फिर तो कैलकुलेशन हर बार एक ही आएगी, क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे के ऑपोजिट है। सी क्लियर है ये बात कि R will not be same in both the cases. If R is same, you will get an depreciation as 1 in each and every case, which is not possible at any age. The second thing is, here N is age of the building and here N is life of the building. That is why the answer will not be equal to 1. And next is obsolescence. So we will discuss these things with the certain examples that will clear your doubts. जो भी आपके डाउट्स है वो क्लियर हो जाएंगे जब हम कुछ एग्जांपल्स करेंगे। Any doubt about up till now about the depreciation part? कोई डाउट है?
Sir, salvage value shall be greater than a scrap value, correct?
What?
Salvage value can be greater than a scrap value.
Sir, it will depend. In salvage value basically हम लोग एज ए यूनिट ही सेल कर देते हैं। मान लो एक आपकी कार है, आपकी कार अब उसकी इकोनॉमिक लाइफ खत्म हो गई, तो आपने कार को ऐसे ही सेल कर देना, जो आदमी लेगा वो उसको अभी पर्टिकुलरली यूज कर सकता है किसी और काम के लिए। वो जो मशीन थी आपकी आपके काम की नहीं रही, कोई आदमी उसको किसी और काम के लिए यूज कर सकता है, आपके लिए उसकी लाइफ खत्म हो। ठीक है। अब अगर स्क्रैप वैल्यू है कि आप भी नहीं यूज कर सकते, जो कोई और भी उसको यूज नहीं कर सकता, उसकी लाइफ खत्म हो गई। अब उसमें क्या है कि जैसे आपकी कार की है, तो अगर कार का आप अलग अलग पार्ट अलग अलग बेच दो, टायर किसी को बेच दिए, उसका इंजन पार्ट्स, इंजन किसी को बेच दिया, गियर पार्ट किसी को बेच दिया, उसके जो डोर्स थे वो किसी को बेच दिया, सीट्स किसी को बेच दिया, बॉडी शेल किसी को बेच दिया। अब उसमें आपको उसको खुलवाने का, डिसमेंटल करने का भी खर्चा होगा, वो भी देखना पड़ेगा। सिमिलरली बिल्डिंग के केस में भी ऐसा हो, बिल्डिंग को डिसमेंटल करके अलग अलग पार्ट अलग करना पड़ेगा, और वो देखना पड़ेगा कि अलग अलग पार्ट को और डिसमेंटल करके उसका जो मलबा है जिस उसको भी डिस्पोज ऑफ करना है आपको, तो उसका खर्चा ऐड करके कौन सा आपको ज्यादा प्रॉफिटेबल रहेगा। साल्वेज में भी मोर देन स्क्रैप और स्क्रैप में भी मोर देन साल्वेज। देयर इज नो पर्टिकुलर rule that salvage will always be higher than scrap.
केस टू केस डिपेंड करेगा। डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ बिल्डिंग में डिफरेंट साल्वेज वैल्यू हो सकती है, स्क्रैप वैल्यू हो सकती है, तो पर्टिकुलर केस टू केस डिपेंड करेगा। प्रॉपर्टी टू प्रॉपर्टी, एसेट टू एसेट, किसी एसेट में साल्वेज वैल्यू ज्यादा हो सकती है, किसी में स्क्रैप वैल्यू ज्यादा हो सकती है। किसी में उसको साल्वेज टू स्क्रैप कन्वर्ट करने में डिमोलिशन का खर्चा ज्यादा हो सकता है। जैसे आरसीसी स्ट्रक्चर है, आरसीसी स्ट्रक्चर को अगर आप स्क्रैप में कन्वर्ट करेंगे साल्वेज से, तो उसको डिमोलिश करने का खर्चा ज्यादा आएगा और उसमें निकलेगा कुछ भी नहीं, डेब्रिस निकलेगा, मलबा निकलेगा। अगर आरबीसी स्ट्रक्चर है या पुराना स्ट्रक्चर है, मड स्ट्रक्चर है, तो उसमें ब्रिक्स निकल जाएंगी, वो काम में आ जाएंगी। या ट्रसेस हैं, ट्रसेस आपको काम में आ जाएंगी। स्टील ट्रसेस जो हैं वो नॉर्मली इतनी उनकी लाइफ कम नहीं होती, वो आगे काम में आ सकती है। डिफरेंट पोर्शन जो स्ट्रट्स हैं या दूसरी चीजें वो काम में आ जाएंगी। लेकिन नॉर्मली अगर आप देखें आरसीसी स्ट्रक्चर की लाइफ ज्यादा होती है, लेकिन उसकी स्क्रैप वैल्यू ऑलमोस्ट जीरो होती है, क्योंकि उसमें सिर्फ स्टील निकलेगा। उसको भी बाहर निकालने के लिए आपको लेबर का खर्चा करना पड़ेगा, मशीन्स लगानी पड़ेंगी कुछ उसको स्टील को आरसीसी से अलग करने के लिए। तो डिपेंड प्रॉपर्टी टू प्रॉपर्टी, ये आपके एक्सपर्टाइज पे डिपेंड करता है कि आप उसको कैसे असेस करते हैं। दैट हैज टू बी केप्ट ऑन रिकॉर्ड ऑल्सो। अगर आप स्क्रैप वैल्यू कुछ ले रहे हैं तो आपको उसको जस्टिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि आप एक पर्टिकुलर 10%, 5%, 6% क्यों ले रहे हैं, उसकी क्या justification है, and that has to be detected. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Then next is obsolescence. So what is obsolescence? So it is a particular type of depreciation, but there is difference between depreciation and obsolescence. For depreciation, you have certain formulas which you can use to calculate depreciation. But for obsolescence, there are no particular formulas. So basically, obsolescence is, it is a state of which being occurs when an object, service, or practice is no longer wanted, even though it may still be in good working order. So as in the case of plant and machinery. Nowadays, in case of plant and machinery, in olden years, we were using lathe machines and they were working manually. But still there may be certain firms who are using the same lathe machines. But nowadays, you have CNC machines, automotive machines, which have better quality, better productivity. So those lathe machines have become obsolete. Maybe they can still be used. It is not that they cannot be used. So that is obsolescence. That as stage has come that older lathe machines, they are not being used these days in most of the firms. Only in certain cases they are using. Otherwise, they have become obsolete. Similarly, in the case of buildings also. In olden days, we were using RV slabs, mud mortar, batten and girder. We were having trajo flooring, and nowadays we are using vitrified tile flooring. We are having RC slabs, and of course, the external and internal design has fair changes than what it was about 20-30 years ago. And the type of sanitary fittings which were there in about 20-30 years ago, they are not being used these days. We are having modern sanitary fitting, modern electrical fittings. And then a building which is say a commercial building which is not having any lift, commercial or other institutional building, they are not provided with lift. They still are being used, can be used, but they have become obsolete. So this condition is called obsolescence, that though it can be in still good working condition, but its practice is no longer wanted. That is obsolescence. So there are different types of obsolescence. First one is technological obsolescence. So with a change in technology, the condition becomes, then the asset becomes obsolescence. Technological obsolescence in case of, even in case of plant and machinery, or in case of buildings, outdated infrastructure, which is not able to support the modern infrastructure, modern technology. And nowadays, efforts or concentration is given on energy efficiency. Older machineries, even you see in your houses, you have LED bulbs, which consumes less energy and giving you more light. And in the older buildings, there were bulbs of 100 watt. They were not giving you the same light. So we are using energy efficiency. Similarly, in the machinery also. There is a lot of innovations that the machineries are energy saving machineries. Now in some services in the buildings, such as buildings without elevators, without fire safety, or there are changing in the plumbing, sanitary fittings and electrical fittings, because of which change in technology, these amenities have become obsolete. And then sustainability. So as far as building is concerned, especially for architect and civil engineers, the sustainability part is very important these days. Green building criteria, energy efficiency. So efforts are being put in for more sustainable buildings, having green building concepts. And then modern adaptabilities. So modern buildings are designed in such a way they can adopt the modern technology, which was not there in the design of older buildings. So they cannot be retrofitted to accommodate new technology. If these cannot be done, then they become obsolete. So this is technological obsolescence. So it occurs when the advancement in technology make existing building systems, structures, features outdated or less efficient. Next is physical deterioration or physical obsolescence. So physical deterioration or physical obsolescence is basically depreciation, physical depreciation. It is loss in value caused by natural forces, normal use, breaking, insect infestation, strain, compression, friction, and the use of various types of materials. So, though it is difficult to stop technological obsolescence, we can reduce physical deterioration, with maintenance of the building, upkeep of the building from time to time. And third type of obsolescence is functional obsolescence. Functional obsolescence occurs in the value due to its architectural design, building styles, size, outdated amenities, local economic conditions, and enhancing technology. So basically, functional obsolescence is a loss in the value due to inability of the structure to perform adequately for the function for which it was used. That is functional obsolescence. And functional obsolescence may be curable and may be incurable. So curable means in case of buildings, you can have old-fashioned electrical outlets, bathroom fittings, and kitchen fixtures, which you can replace, depending upon whether the cost of doing so is economically justified or not. And incurable obsolescence when the cost of contracting the condition outweighs the value improvement. Means, let us suppose you spent rupees 60 lakh on renovation or changing these electrical outlets, bathroom fittings, etc. And if after doing that, spending a huge amount of 60 lakh, the value of the building, which was 1 crore 20 lakh, after renovation, it becomes 1 crore 30 lakh, even though you have spent 160 lakh over it. So it is not economically viable, that the effort you have put, that will not give you the profitable return. So that is incurable functional obsolescence. So obsolescence are maybe of two types, curable or incurable. Curable means if you spent certain amount over it and you are able to recover at least that amount, then it is curable. And if you are not able to recover that particular amount which you have spent to cure it, then we call it incurable. And next one is economic obsolescence. Economic obsolescence is due to the external factors, reduction in the value of the property due to external factors on which the owner do not have any say. He cannot stop that. Let us suppose the government has announced that a sewage treatment plant will be constructed in the vicinity of the building. A central jail will be constructed in the vicinity of the building. A major road will pass through on the front of the road, which will cause a lot of noise pollution. So there may be certain causes external causes which may reduce the value of the property, on which the owner does not have any power to stop that. Then we call it
देखिए आपको
economic
एक सिचुएशन दिया जा सकता है ड्यूरिंग द एग्जाम कि ये फंक्शनल ऑब्सोलेसेंस है या इकोनॉमिक ऑब्सोलेंस है, तो आपको पता होना चाहिए अगर इंटरनल फैक्टर से है, वेदर इट इज अ मशीन, इट इज अ बिल्डिंग और एनी अदर एसेट, इफ द ऑब्सोलेंस इज ड्यू टू इंटरनल फैक्टर्स देन फंक्शनल है, अगर एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स से है तो इकोनॉमिक है। फंक्शनल ऑब्सोलेंस कैसे होगा? मशीन के अंदर प्रोडक्शन उसका कम हो गया है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ज्यादा खींच रहा है, या फिर नंबर ऑफ जो चीजें बन रही हैं वो नॉट एज पर अभी रिक्वायरमेंट है, तो फंक्शनल ऑब्सोलेंस है। अगर जैसे प्लास्टिक इंडस्ट्री में प्लास्टिक के बैग्स बनने बंद हो गए हैं, तो मशीन अगर वो बिल्कुल नया है तो भी वो यूजलेस है, तो फंक्शनल ऑब्सोलेंस हो गया। अगर गवर्नमेंट ने बैन कर दिया है प्लास्टिक बनाना के प्लास्टिक का बैग्स अभी मार्केट में नहीं बिकेंगे, तो मशीन को कौन खरीदेगा? तो इकोनॉमिक ऑब्सोलेंस हो गया ड्यू टू एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स। अगर इंटरनल फैक्टर्स की वजह से है ऑब्सोलेंस, जैसे वियर एंड टियर ज्यादा हो रहा है, मशीन का मेंटेनेंस ज्यादा मांग रहा है, या फिर इलेक्ट्रिसिटी ज्यादा कंज्यूम कर रहा है, या फिर कोई ऐसा प्रोडक्ट बना रहा है जो कि प्रॉपरली उसका आप शेपिंग या प्रॉपर फिनिशिंग नहीं दे पा रहे हैं, तो वो इंटरनल फैक्टर है, तो वो फंक्शनल ऑब्सोलेंस होगा। बिल्डिंग में अगर जैसे टॉयलेट है, पुराना है, WC लगा हुआ है, चेन वाला सिस्टम लगा हुआ है, या फिर मोज़ैक फ्लोरिंग है, या CC फ्लोरिंग है, या फिर बैटन रूफ्स हैं, या ट्रसेस हैं, या फिर आपको वुडन मड मोटर इस्तेमाल किया हुआ है, अगर इस तरह का बिल्डिंग है और आपको इंटरनल फैक्टर्स की वजह से ऑब्सोलेंस है, तो ये फंक्शनल होगा। अगर एक्सटर्नल फैक्टर्स है, जैसे नियर बाय कोई सीवरेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट आ गया, कोई जेल है, कोई नाला आसपास जा रहा है, या फिर कोई इस तरह का कोई टेम्पल है, कोई मॉस्क है जिसकी वजह से न्यूसेंस हो रहा है, तो ये एक्सटर्नल होगा। एक्सटर्नल होगा तो इकोनॉमिक ऑब्सोलेंस होगा। इज इट क्लियर टू एवरीवन? ये दोनों में आपको क्वेश्चन एक सिनेरियो दिया होगा और नीचे 3-4 ऑप्शन लिखे होंगे, उनमें से आपको चूज करना है कि ये किस तरह का ऑब्सोलेंस है इस प्रॉपर्टी में। एंड दैट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट फॉर अ वैल्यूअर टू चूज which type of obsolescence is the property is affected with which type of obsolescence. Yes sir, please continue sir.
Okay, thank you Sandeep ji for your valuable input. And next, how you will be calculating the value of an asset by cost approach. First thing, you have to find the value of the land by market approach. In which way, what will you do? First of all, you will visit the site, and then from the market you will collect the data about the similar properties which have been recently sold in the vicinity of the property of which you are doing valuation. That is, first you will identify the comparable and collect the data about them, that at what price they were sold.
The process is same for plant and machinery also. if a machine, you are going to value a machinery, then you need to collect the market data of a similar type of machinery, at what cost it has been sold in the nearby time period. Yes, sir, please continue.
So then from the data which you have collected, you will try to bring them all the collected, identified, able, comparable sales at the same level. Considering their location, considering their physical condition, their age, and other things, you will try to bring them at the same level. How it will be done, we will discuss in the market approach. Then we will analyze the market trends, and depending upon the market trend, we will apply adjustments and other factors. We will determine the value of the land. And once the value of the land is known to you, then you will calculate the value of the building by cost estimation method. First of all, you will calculate the replacement cost of the new building by any of the methods of estimation we have discussed. Then we will calculate the depreciation. That depreciation will be subtracted from the replacement cost. That will give you the depreciated replacement cost of the building. And then you will add the land value to the depreciated replacement cost of the building. That will give you the final value estimate of the building. So this is the way how you will calculate the value of a building by using cost approach method. Okay, Sandeep ji, we can have a tea break of 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So then again, we will start with our examples based upon whatever we have done so far. If until now you have any doubt about depreciation, obsolescence, life, age, or anything we have discussed so far, you can ask.
So far, we are going very, very slow to cop up the each and every formula and each and every concept in this depreciation process. It is very, very important to understand the process of depreciation during the valuation process. So if you are having any doubt, please unmute yourself and ask the doubt. Otherwise, we will take a short tea break of 20 minutes. It is 11:40. Now we will join sharp at 12. The attendance time will be 12.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
In the land value by market approach,
We will take the market approach in the next session.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Next chapter
So
is
don't worry, we
market
will take
approach.
each and everything will be clear.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If any concept is not clear, you can ask. About the procedure, we are still in the beginning. We have not done anything so far.
Yes. So friends,
If
we are
any
taking,
concept is not clear, you can ask.
I want to ask that identify the identity comparable sales. Is there any
Sir.
time period specified? Means like it is a comparison for nearby sold properties for 1 year, last 1 year, last 2 years, something like that.
Sir, it should be as near as possible. But if it
Okay.
is generally, it is 1.5 years or 2 years, and how they have to bring at the same level, we will do that procedure.
this concept will be clear when we will take some examples related to this comparable
Okay.
sales instances.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So friends, we are going to take a short tea break for 20 minutes. We will join sharp at 12 p.m.
Okay, friends, now we will start certain examples that will make you conversant with the different methods of depreciation. So
Please
first
put
we
it in
will,
slide mode, sir.
Okay, sir. I will try. There is problem with some network problem. Okay. Is it
Yes,
okay
sir.
now?
Now it is okay, sir.
Okay. Now see, we have discussed three methods: straight line method of depreciation, then constant percentage method or reducing balance method, and third we have discussed about the sinking fund method. So what is the basic difference between straight line method and straight line constant percentage method? Anybody?
Straight line method, we calculate on the original cost, sir. Original cost of the asset. And in straight line, in constant mode, the salvage value becomes completely zero.
Okay.
Straight
There
line
is
method.
one thing.
Sir, can I, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This constant percentage method will give more appropriate value for any particular year of valuation.
See,
As
sir.
I
See one thing. What is your aim? Your aim is to calculate depreciated replacement cost. When you are doing valuation by cost approach, what is your aim basically? As far as building is concerned, your aim is to calculate a depreciated replacement cost. Now see, in case of straight line method, it will give you depreciation, that how much depreciation is there, but it will not give you directly depreciated replacement cost. But this constant percentage method, with this method, you can directly calculate the depreciated replacement cost in one step. This is the basic difference. Okay, and then both are these methods have their own limitations, and both these methods have their own advantages. So we will be taking certain questions based upon both the methods, then these things will be clear to you. So let us take an example. We have a building whose area is 1200 square meter. We are just talking about building part only here. Building area is 1200 square meter. Age of the building is 25 years. Life of the building is 50 years. Salvage value is nil. Plot area is 2000 square meter and land rate is 8000 per square meter. So you have to find the value of the building. Here we will be just taking what the cost of land is taken. No market analysis will be done here. Just we will be calculating mathematical value or theoretical value. See, when we are using straight line method. So straight line method, you know depreciation. First of all, you calculate the replacement cost of the building. So this is a rate of the construction cost per square meter per unit as on today. So area of the building is 1200 square meter and the cost of construction per unit is 25,000 per square meter. So what will be the cost of constructing new building? 2500 into 1200. Okay, so 3 crore is the cost of construction building. Okay, now with straight line method, you know the formula is original cost minus salvage value divided by life. Here salvage value is 0. So depreciation per year. So here we are calculating depreciation per year. 100 minus 0.52% per year. Means every year the value of the building is going to depreciate by 2%. Okay. Now age of the building is 25 years. So what will be the total depreciation?
50%.
25 into 2, 50%.
50%.
What does this mean? It means 50% of the value has depreciated. Means depreciation value will be 50% of 3 crore. This is depreciation value. This is not depreciated. See, this is depreciation and this is depreciation value, which is 50% of the value. So depreciation value is 50% of 3 crore means 1 crore 50 lakh. So what 50% has depreciated, it means what is the remaining value? Again 50% means
50%.
depreciated and depreciation value both are same. That is 1 crore 50 lakh. So here three things are involved. One is depreciation, second is depreciation value, and third thing is depreciated value. And you have to check what he is asking in the question. क्वेश्चन में आपने चेक करना है उसने डेप्रिसिएशन वैल्यू पूछी है या डेप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू पूछी।
देखिए क्वेश्चन में कभी कभी आपको ड्यू टू सम स्ट्रेस और इफ यू आर अंडर प्रेशर तो कभी कभी आप कंफ्यूज कर जाते हैं। अगर उसने डेप्रिसिएशन पूछा है तो डेप्रिसिएशन का आंसर दीजिए, अगर डेप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू पूछा है तो डेप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू का आंसर दीजिए, और अगर डेप्रिसिएशन परसेंटेज पूछिए तो डेप्रिसिएशन परसेंटेज ही बताना है। उसके अलावा आपको कुछ भी आंसर नहीं करना है। अगर आप कुछ भी, और देखिए आपको जो यहां पर जैसे 45% लेट इट बी 45% होता तो डेप्रिशिएटेड वैल्यू कितना होना था 55%, तो वहां पर आपको आंसर में 45% का भी दिया होगा। तो आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए वो क्वेश्चन देता है, तो वहां पर आपको कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है। पहले अच्छी तरह से क्वेश्चन को पढ़ना है, उसको नोट डाउन करना है, गिवन पॉइंट्स ऑन द पेपर प्रोवाइडेड टू यू ड्यूरिंग द एग्जामिनेशन। उसके बाद में उसको सॉल्व करने की कोशिश करनी है। पहले आपको रिजॉल्व करना है कि वो मांग क्या रहा है, व्हाट ही इज आस्किंग इन द क्वेश्चन। इफ ही इज आस्किंग डेप्रिशिएशन, if he is asking depreciated value or anything else. Yes sir.
Plot area is 2000 square meter and land rate is 8000 square meters. So cost of land will be 2000 into 8000, 1 crore 60 lakhs. So total value of the building, land value plus depreciated value of the building, it is 3 crore 10 lakh, which you have calculated with the straight line method. Now see, if you have to do it with the constant percentage method, since always value is 0, you can have to use formula C into 1 minus P raised to power M. So Salvage value, we assume the same percentage as 2% depreciation. And age is 25 years, original cost is 3 crore. So depreciated value in one step. It is C into 1 minus P raised to power M. C is 3 crore. 1 minus P is 2 upon 100 raised to power 25. So the value comes out to be 1 crore 81 lakh 3,945. And then the total value, land value plus depreciated value of the building, it is 3 crore 41 lakh 3,941. See the huge difference of 31 lakh in both the calculations. So one thing is clear, you will not get the same result with the different methods. Here you are getting somewhat higher value as compared to straight line method.
Sir, in this case, I think we should prefer for the constant percentage method, which gives the more value for the property.
So, sir, it will depend upon if you are doing it for banking purposes. So you have to be conservative.
Okay, sir.
You have to be conservative. So it will depend upon the purpose.
Purpose. Okay.
And situation to situation. If you are doing
Okay.
for certain other purpose, data space, say for net worth calculation of the owner, then of course you can use this method, constant percentage method. So it will depend upon the purpose.
So this particular question, they're asking for what is the value. That means it's the depreciated
value. Value means total value.
Property value.
Yeah,
Depreciated property value, right?
Yeah. Whenever you are talking about, of course, you are talking about depreciated value as a value. Depreciated value of the building, sorry.
Okay.
Total value is depreciated value is one part of that value.
Okay.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, if in the options, if both are there, like 310 and 341, what would be the correct answer?
Sir, there will not be, you will not be there that he will simply ask you to calculate the value by straight line method or by constant percentage method or by both the methods.
Okay.
So it is not for you to decide. It will depend upon the situation. Maybe he may have given to you that you have to use this value for banking purposes.
Okay. So then we have to go for constant percentage method.
For banking, you will go for a straight line method because here it is giving lower value. You have to be somewhat conservative in that case.
Conservative. Okay.
Sir, one thing regarding constant percentage method, when it is normally considered the historical cost, and here it is replacement cost. Please clarify it.
सर आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं है, थोड़ा लाउडली बोलें.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
For constant percentage method, are we going to take replacement cost of the building or historical cost of the building?
Sir, we are taking replacement cost of the building. If you are calculating it for banking or other purpose, if you are calculating it for book value, if you calculating it for book value, then you will be using historical value of the building.
Okay.
Generally, we take this as book. Generally, this method is also used for book value. That is why it is called accounting method. So there are many limitations in both the methods. We will discuss that also. What are the limitations and how you can? Yes, sir.
Sir, in straight line method, go to the previous slide, please. Why C is taken as 100%? I am having a doubt.
Otherwise, you can do. You can simply put the value at the start. What is the value?
Original cost.
Original cost, which is 100%. Otherwise, you can use a 3 crore also.
Okay.
Does not matter. You can take it as 100% or you take the value. Does not matter. We will take an example that will make the things clear. चाहे आप value ले लो, चाहे 100%, 90% percentage में निकाल लो. That is somewhat easier for calculation. Otherwise, if you want, you can take crore also. In this formula, you can put 3 crore instead of 100%.
Okay.
Salvage value is given as 0. Salvage value
is given as 0. Otherwise, if salvage value is given, you can deduct that value 10, 90, whatever it is. Any other doubt?
सर कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड में P 2% एज्यूम किया है.
जी जी.
बट एग्जाम में फिर कैसे, मतलब
सर वो दिया गया होगा आपको, सर दिया गया होगा.
अच्छा, ओके.
ये सिर्फ आपको डिफरेंस बताने के लिए है कि कैसे आएगा.
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर.
अभी जो केस स्टडीज है वो करेंगे. अभी आपको मेथड से कन्वर्सन कराना है कि आपके दिमाग में बैठ जाए कि दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या है. अदरवाइज अलग अलग आएगा, ऐसा इकट्ठा क्वेश्चन कभी भी नहीं आएगा. हमने कुछ क्वेश्चन ऐसे कर रहे हैं कि आपको समझने में दोनों मेथड्स में क्लियर हो जाए कि क्या डिफरेंस है. एक तो ये पता चल गया कि ये आपको डायरेक्ट वैल्यू दे रहा है और ये आपको डेप्रीसिएशन दे रहा है. दिस मेथड इज गिवन यू डेप्रीसिएशन, नॉट डेप्रीशिएटेड वैल्यू. इट विल गिव यू इन सिंगल मेथड. So
यहाँ
another
पर
question.
आपने देखा कि कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज में वैल्यू ज्यादा आया और स्ट्रेट लाइन में मेथड में कम आया। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन में हम देखेंगे बिल्कुल उल्टा होने वाला है।
Now see, the plinth area of a RCC roof load-bearing residential building 16-year-old is 1200 square feet. The life of the building is 60 years and salvage value is 10%. Calculate the depreciated value if the unit replacement cost is 1800 rupees per square feet. For the above building, if the age of first floor is 10 years, what will be the depreciated value of the first floor built up area 1000 square feet, assuming the unit rate of construction as rupees 1400. See here, age is 16-year ground floor, life is 60 years, salvage is 10%, plinth area, ground floor is 1200 square feet, first floor is 1000 square feet, replacement rate, ground floor is 1800 square feet, replacement rate, first floor is 1400 per square feet. So you calculate the replacement value of the ground floor 1200 into 1800, 21,60,000, and the replacement value of the first floor as 1000 into 1400, 14 lakh. So this is the replacement value of ground floor and first floor.
During the examination, before starting solving the question, first of all, note all the given instructions on a piece of paper provided to you during the examination. When you note each and everything given in the question, then you will be able to understand what he is asking and how to calculate it. First of all, spare 1 or 2 minutes for noting the given data on a piece of paper. Then only you will be able to understand what is where he want to confuse you. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. Then you have the formula C minus S upon life. C is 100%. And life is 60 years. Salvage value is given to you as 10%. So depreciation per year will be 100 minus 10 upon 60, 1.5% per year. Age of the building is 16 years. So depreciation, total depreciation will be 24%. So depreciation value will be 24% of total. See here, if we are talking about ground floor, depreciation is replacement cost is 21,60,000. So 24% of 21,60,000, it is 16,41,000. Sorry, 5,18,400. So either you subtract 5,18,400 from 21,60,000, or you can say 24% has depreciated. It means remaining value is 76%. So you can do anything. या तो 21,60,000 में से ये 5,18,400 माइनस कर दो, तब भी आपका आंसर 16,41,600 आएगा। जहां देख लो कि 76% बचा, वो निकाल लिया। सिमिलरली फर्स्ट फ्लोर के लिए आप निकाल सकते हो। अब फर्स्ट फ्लोर में देखिए उसने क्या कहा कि फर्स्ट फ्लोर जो है, दैट फर्स्ट फ्लोर इज वाज बिल्ट 10 years एंड ग्राउंड फ्लोर इज 16 years, बट दोनों के लिए फाउंडेशन सेम है, तो फर्स्ट फ्लोर के लिए भी डेप्रिसिएशन सेम ही रहेगी।
अगर क्वेश्चन में
रेट अलग अलग हो सकता है।
अगर क्वेश्चन में उसने दिया है कि the first floor is 10 year old with on the and standing on the separate foundation, तब आपने 10 साल उसका डेप्रिसिएशन लेना है, अदरवाइज 16 years ही लेंगे। If he has mentioned in the question that first floor is 10 years old and erected on a new foundation from the ground floor, then only you can take the first floor age is 10 years.
So similarly, for the first floor, you calculate the depreciation at 3,36,000 and remaining is 76%. So remaining comes 10,64,000. So you can add both of them. But in constant percentage method, फर्स्ट फ्लोर ग्राउंड फ्लोर के लिए फार्मूला, अगर सैलवेज वैल्यू गिवन है, यू कैन यूज दिस फार्मूला C2S upon C raised to power M upon N. C is 21,60,000. S is 10%. 10% of 21,60,000 is 2,16,000 divided by 21,60,000 raised to power M upon N. M is 16 year, and N is 60 years. You calculate, it gives you depreciated replacement cost as 11,68,927. Similarly, you can calculate it for first floor. First floor value is 14 lakh. 1,40,000 is salvage value, 10% of it divided by 14 lakh. Again, you will be applying the same age factor 16 upon 60. So value is 7,57,638. So see here, value, now value with the straight line method comes out to be 16,41,600 and value with constant percentage is 11,68,000 for ground floor. And for first floor, it is 10,64 and with the constant percentage method with the for first floor value is 7,57,000. Now you are getting lower value with constant percentage method. So it will be depend upon which formula you are using. So total value you can calculate, does not matter.
Here, if you are providing the valuation for banking purpose, then a constant percentage method will be used. And if you are providing a value for taxation purpose, then straight line method will be used.
So now we will be doing an example
Excuse
in
me,
which
sir.
all the three formulas will be used.
Sir,
That
excuse
will
me.
make the things more clear.
Sorry.
Any doubt?
Excuse me,
Yes,
sir. The
Yes.
previous one. So, I mean, to make out which particular method to apply for any particular asset, so we need to do the exercise for both the methods.
Yes,
How
yes,
do
sir.
yeah? How do you
Yes,
come to know? Yeah, unless we.
सर उस पे भी आएंगे, अभी थोड़ा वेट कर लो, अभी समझ लो तो हम इस दोनों के डिफरेंस समझ रहे हैं.
Okay, okay.
कौन सा मेथड कहाँ पे यूज करना है उस पे भी आते हैं, वो भी डिस्कस करेंगे सारा. ठीक है ना, वो प्रैक्टिकली सब कुछ आपको बताया जाएगा. Though it is not a part of your syllabus, but we will discuss it. Don't worry. अभी तक इसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम है वो समझ लो, इसलिए मैं स्लोली चल रहा हूँ कि आपको समझ आ जाए
लेकिन थोड़ा
दोनों में.
फास्ट मत सोचिए. अगर आप थोड़ा फास्ट सोचेंगे ना तो आप बहुत कुछ पीछे छोड़ जाएंगे. शाहरुख खान जी का फिल्म देखिए, उसमें एक बहुत फेमस डायलॉग है, पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त, अभी वी आर जस्ट एंटरिंग इनटू द फील्ड. अगर आप ज्यादा आगे का सोचेंगे तो पीछे का सारा भूल जाएंगे और आपको समझ नहीं लगेगा कि की पॉइंट क्या था. तो इसलिए जहां जितना बताया जा रहा है उसी पे कंसंट्रेट करिए, आगे मत भागिए. स्लो एंड स्टडी, स्लो एंड स्टडी, स्लो एंड स्टडी. वन बाय वन, स्टेप बाय स्टेप आपको सब कुछ क्लियर होने वाला है. पिक्चर अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. यस सर.
So now we will be doing one example that will make the clear के तीनों मेथड कैसे काम करते हैं, हाउ द थ्री मेथड्स वर्क इंटरनल, उसका बेसिक आपको समझाएंगे इसको. Say temporary shed has been, this is just an example to make the things clear. ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन ही होता प्रैक्टिकली, सिर्फ एक एग्जांपल से आपको समझाया जाएगा. A temporary shed has been constructed for rupees 1,20,000. Assuming the salvage value at the end of 6 years as 30,000, determine the amount of depreciation and book value. आपने depreciation भी निकालनी है और book value भी निकालनी है. You have to find depreciation as well as book value. First by straight line methods, then by constant percentage method, and then by sinking fund method. First of all, we will calculate with sinking fund method. Oh, sorry, straight line method. You know straight line method, depreciation per year, it is equals to C minus S upon N. C is 1,20,000. S, he has given you 30,000 and N is 6 years. So what will be the depreciation per year? 1,20,000 minus 30,000 divided by 6, 15,000 is the depreciation per year.
The same question can be asked for plant and machinery. A machine purchased at the cost of 1,20,000, assuming the salvage value for 6 years is 30,000. Determine the amount of depreciation and book value of the machine, and the life of the machine is 6 years. The same question can be asked for plant and machinery by replacing the asset, name of the asset. Yes, sir. Please continue.
So now, see book value, how it will be done. So at the start, value is 1,20,000. In the first year, depreciation is 15,000. Total depreciation is 15,000. And at the end of 1 year, value will be 1,20,000 minus 15,000, 1,05,000. At the end of second year, again depreciation will be again 15,000. Total depreciation will be 15 plus 15, 30,000. And book value will be 1,20,000 minus 30,000, 90,000. Again, at the end of third year, again depreciation will be 15,000. Total depreciation 45,000. And book value is 1,20,000 minus 45,000, 75,000. So if you go on doing so, the value at the end of 6 year, it is 30,000, which is salvage value. Now see, depreciation amount remains same. इस मेथड में हर साल जो डेप्रिसिएशन अमाउंट है वो सेम रहता है. ये सिर्फ एक आपको समझाने के लिए है कि कैसे काम करता है. दिस इज हाउ द स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड वर्क्स. द अमाउंट ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन रिमेन्स सेम every year. It is assumed that the asset will depreciate by the same amount.
You will not find this question in any book of valuation. Solving the same problem by using the three types of depreciation, you will not find this question. This is for very, very important question for your understanding. If you are able to understand this concept, then you will never confuse in calculating the depreciation by using any method. This is very, very important concept to be learned by each and every valuer of any asset class, especially for tangible assets. Yes, sir.
The next is constant percentage method. So constant percentage method, P is equals to 1 minus S upon C raised to power 1 upon N. S is given to you as 30,000. C is 30, cos 1,20,000. And formula, you put the value in the formula, it comes out to be, and life is 6 year, N is 6 year. So it comes out to be 0.2064. So percentage comes out to be 0.2064. Now see how this formula will work internally. This is just to make the things clear. See, at the start, 0 year value is 1,20,000. So now depreciation will be applied on 1,20,000 with the percentage as 0.2064. Value is 24,768. This is depreciation. So the value will be 1,20,000 minus 24,768, 95,232. And now in the next year, depreciation will be applied on 95,232 on this value, not on 1,20,000. So 25,232 into 0.2064, it will be 19656. And you subtract 95,232 minus 19656, the value is 75,576. Now the depreciation will be applied on this amount. 75,576 into 0.2064, so 15,599. So in this way, you go on doing calculation, and at the end of 6 year, value is approximately 30 year, which is your salvage value. See here, what remains same? Percentage of depreciation. It is constant percentage. That is why it is called constant percentage. इसको थोड़ा कैलकुलेशन करके देखिए, एक बार आपको बात क्लियर हो जाएगी. आपके पास पेन और कॉपी होगी, कैलकुलेटर है तो इसको एक बार करके देखिए थोड़ा सा, ताकि आपको क्लियर हो जाए डाउट. प्लीज ट्राई 1 or 2 calculations of depreciation so that the things are clear.
देखिए, जब तक आप प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व नहीं करेंगे अपना कैलकुलेटर पेन एंड पेपर इस्तेमाल करके, तब तक सब कुछ अच्छा अच्छा नजर आने वाला है, जब तक कुछ समझ नहीं आने वाला। आप सिर्फ रीड करेंगे, डोंट ट्राई टू रीड द न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम्स, ट्राई टू सॉल्व द न्यूमेरिकल प्रॉब्लम्स बाय यूजिंग योर कैलकुलेटर और एक्सेल शीट एंड पेन एंड पेपर, देन यू विल फाइंड द वेयर द एक्चुअल डिफिकल्टी इज। तो अगर आपको डिफिकल्टी यहां पर पता चलती है ड्यूरिंग द प्रैक्टिस, देन इट्स ओके। अगर डिफिकल्टी आपको एग्जामिनेशन में पता चलती है, देन इट विल कॉस्ट 5,900 मोर देन द कॉस्ट ऑफ कैलकुलेटर। Try to note each and every
ठीक है।
term given in the question, then try to solve it whatever is easy, then use the calculator और एक्सेल
ठीक है,
शीट।
क्लियर है जी? इसमें कोई डाउट है? अगर समझ आ गई बात, किसी को कोई डाउट है तो पूछ लो।
Yes,
अब
sir.
तीसरा,
Oh,
अब इसमें एक बात समझ
okay.
लगी, पहले में क्या था? इन द फर्स्ट केस अमाउंट वाज कांस्टेंट, इन द सेकंड केस परसेंटेज इज कांस्टेंट। ये सिर्फ डाटा इस तरीके से मैनिपुलेट किया गया कि आपको चीज समझ आ जाए। अदरवाइज इसमें एक और लिमिटेशन है कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड में, इसमें वैल्यू विल नेवर बी जीरो। वो हम आगे जाके क्वेश्चन में देखेंगे कि इसका मेथड की ये लिमिटेशन है। दिस मेथड हैज ए लिमिटेशन दैट इन केस ऑफ कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड यू विल नेवर गेट जीरो वैल्यू, जीरो बुक वैल्यू। बेसिकली कुछ ना कुछ वैल्यू जरूर आएगी, इसकी थोड़ी लिमिटेशन है। बट वी आर टॉकिंग जस्ट टू मेक द थिंग क्लियर कि दोनों कैसे काम करते हैं। इसमें आपने देखा कि अमाउंट कांस्टेंट रहा, इसमें आपकी परसेंटेज कांस्टेंट, दैट इज व्हाई इट इज कॉल्ड कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज। थर्ड मेथड you know is sinking fund method. So in sinking fund method you have to calculate sinking fund coefficient and your amount of
Please make sure that your full face to be visible on the screen all the time during attending the class.
so it is IC into S, sinking fund coefficient and amount of sinking amount of rupees 1 which has been collected so far. So IC के लिए जो फार्मूला है R अपॉन 1 प्लस आर एच टू पावर n माइनस 1 एंड S के लिए फार्मूला 1 प्लस आर एच टू पावर n, यू हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई डेप्रिसिएशन परसेंटेज, फार्मूला इज IC into S upon 100. ओके, सो अब सिंकिंग फंड में हमने क्या अज्यूम करना है कि हमने सिंकिंग फंड अकोमुलेट करना है। अब वैल्यू इसकी 1,20,000 आपको पता है, और लेकिन आपने सिंकिंग फंड कितना अकोमुलेट करना, हाउ मच सिंकिंग फंड यू हैव टू अकोमुलेट। यू नो value of the asset is 1,20,000, but how much sinking fund you have to accumulate?
Minus salvage value.
Minus salvage value means you have to accumulate 19,000, 90,000. So we can write it as at the start of the age of the building, we can write it its value not as 1,20,000, we can write it as 90,000 plus 30,000, just to make the things understandable. So now if you calculate by using this formula, you can calculate IC in the Excel, and also in the Excel you can use these, calculate these two values in the Excel. You multiply them, IC into S into 100, that is the percentage. So if for at the age of 1, when value of here IC will remain same, 1 से लेके 6 तक साल तक IC की वैल्यू सेम रहेगी, क्योंकि R आपकी 0.04 है डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस 0.04 रेज टू पावर 6, चाहे 1 साल के लिए 2, 3, 4, 5 साल IC की वैल्यू सेम रहेगी। लेकिन S की वैल्यू पहले साल में M कितना है 1, दूसरे साल में M 2, तीसरे में 3, तो S की वैल्यू चेंज होती जाएगी। तो ये S और M, IC और S आप एक्सेल में कैलकुलेट करोगे। तो फर्स्ट ईयर के लिए कैलकुलेट किया, यू कैलकुलेट इट फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर, परसेंटेज कम टू बी 150%, 15%। सो 15% ऑफ व्हाट 90,000, 15% ऑफ व्हाट 90,000, 19,000, 90,000 का 15% आ गया 13,500। सो दिस इज टू बी डेप्रिशिएटेड फ्रॉम व्हाट, from the 90,000 you have to subtract 13,500 प्लस 30,000 आपके पास ऑलरेडी पड़ा ही है, उसको सालवेज वैल्यू को आपने कुछ नहीं करना। तो टोटल वैल्यू आपके पास बच गई 1,06,500। ये जो 13,500 है वो 90,000 में से सब्ट्रैक्ट होना। इन द सेकेंड ईयर डेप्रिसिएशन इज 31%, 31% ऑफ व्हाट 90,000, that is 27,900. So now you will subtract 77,900 from 90,000 and add 30,000. Value at the end of second year will be 90,100. Similarly at the third year, similarly at the fourth year, fifth year and sixth year. At the end, value will be, depreciation will be 100%. 100% of what? 90,000 means 90,000 minus 90,000. You will be left with only 30,000 as the salvage. This is how this sinking fund method works internally. हो सकता है डाटा में कुछ मैनिपुलेशन किया गया, इंटरेस्ट रेट हमने 4% दोनों में ले लिया, ऐसा नहीं होता है, दोनों में डिफरेंस होता है। लेकिन जस्ट आपको कैसे ये इंटरनली वर्क करता है, हाउ इट वर्क्स इंटरनली, ऑल दिस मेथड, दिस क्वेश्चन इज जस्ट टू मेक कन्वर्सेंट, मेक यू कन्वर्सेंट विद दिस वर्किंग ऑफ दिस फॉर्मूलास। प्रैक्टिकली ऐसा नहीं होता, सिर्फ आपको समझाने के लिए। So any doubt about these formulas? So I think everything will be clear in your mind about how these formulas actually work internally. So what are the basic things here? This is just to make the things clear in your mind. In the first case, it is the amount which is same. In the second case, it is the percentage which is same. Clear? So we will be taking an example. See here how the value will be different with different methods. Till now you have tried straight line and constant percentage method and try to find the difference in values. And if you are using all the three methods at the same time, then it is given that the value of the newly constructed building is 1 crore 50 lakh. Life of the building is 75 years. Determine the depreciation in 30th year of the life by straight line method, constant percentage method and sinking fund method at 8% compound interest, the scrap value of the building is 10% of its construction cost. So we will be using all the three methods. In straight line method, you know, formula is C minus S upon life. So cost, original cost is 1 crore 50 lakh. आप 100% की बजाय 1 crore 50 lakh भी लिख सकते हो, और सालवेज वैल्यू आपकी 10% है, 1,50,000 हो, और एज लाइफ आपकी 75 है, ऐसा भी लिख सकते हो, 100 माइनस 10 भी लिख सकते हो, या ऐसे भी लिख लोगे, डज नॉट मैटर. So depreciation will be 1,80,000. You can write it in this form also. So total depreciation will be, you multiply it with 30th year, you have to calculate it, total depreciation will be 54 lakh. With straight line method, you have calculated it and the total depreciation comes out to be 54 lakh. And now you have to concentrate as far as the constant percentage method is. With constant percentage method, you do not get depreciation directly. You get depreciated replacement value. See, you calculate the depreciated replacement cost of the building at the end of 30 years. Formula is C into S upon C upon raised to power M upon N. You put all the values. So say so this is depreciated value, but you need depreciation. आपको डेप्रीसिएशन चाहिए, डेप्रीशिएटेड वैल्यू नहीं चाहिए. तो अब आप क्या करोगे कि ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट में से डेप्रीशिएटेड वैल्यू निकाल लोगे, वो आपकी डेप्रीसिएशन आएगी. यहाँ पे कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड में ये देखना, याद रखना है कि वो आपको डेप्रीसिएशन डायरेक्टली नहीं देता. इट डज नॉट गिव यू डेप्रीसिएशन डायरेक्टली, इट गिव यू डेप्रीशिएटेड कॉस्ट. एंड इफ यू हैव टू कैलकुलेट डेप्रीसिएशन, you have to subtract depreciated cost from the total or original cost. So the depreciation in this case comes out to be 90,28,000. See the huge difference. Here depreciation is 54 lakh and this is giving you depreciation 90,28,000. And still see the difference of these two with the sinking fund method. So how much sinking fund you require? 1 crore 50 lakh is the original cost and 15 lakh will be the salvage value, and you need to collect 1 crore 35 lakh. So you calculate IC. For IC, he has given you 8%. You do calculate value IC for whole life of the building, and as for 30 years, you calculate IC will come out to be 0.00025 and S is 113.28. And percentage if is 28.3, so 28.3% of 1 crore 35 lakh. See here, यहाँ पे आपने 1 crore 50 lakh नहीं लेना, 1 crore 35 लेना. That amount which you have to accumulate as sinking fund. And see here the depreciation, it is only 3,80,000 approximately. See the huge difference. Here it is 54 lakh. Here it is 90,28,000, and here it is only 3,82,000.
Friends, you will not find this question in any book or any PPT or anywhere else. Rajendra sir has tried to solve the same question by using all the three methods to make you clear that which type of depreciation is better to provide in your report. Suppose the purpose of the valuation is banking. Which type of method, which method you will use? Or if the purpose is taxation, which method will you use? And suppose the method is, suppose the purpose is for sale and purchase, or finding out the net worth for the SSE, then which method will you use? There are three types of methods you have seen for calculating the depreciation. For banking purpose, which method will you use? For providing your report?
Constant percentage. Constant percentage.
Okay. And for finding the cost, finding the sale price of the building.
Maximum value.
Constant percentage for sale.
Constant
Sinking
percentage
fund.
for sale.
Maximum value for sale.
Sinking fund
Sinking
method.
fund method.
And for finding the taxation.
In the
Straight
taxation.
line.
Straight line. Straight line.
Straight line.
Recommend.
No.
Written off.
Rajvinder sir will
WDV.
try to clear the doubts.
WDV.
What do you, sir?
सर सी, आपने बैंकिंग के लिए मिनिमम वैल्यू देनी, यू हैव टू गिव मिनिमम वैल्यू. ऑफ कोर्स यू विल बी यूजिंग कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज so that the depreciation is maximum. Sale के लिए you will be using straight line method. Depreciation is minimum, value will be higher. And when in the capital gain, what you have to do? Capital gain केस में क्या होना चाहिए? आपकी रिप्लेसमेंट वैल्यू ज्यादा आनी चाहिए या कम आनी चाहिए? What should be the criteria in capital gain? Whether your replacement value should be higher or lower.
It should be higher, sir.
हाँ जी,
Higher,
हायर कब
higher.
आएगी? When
Higher
will be the value
Sinking
higher?
fund method. Sinking
Tax,
fund.
tax amount should be as less as possible.
So the depreciation amount should be as less as possible.
Yes.
So depreciation किस में less आएगी?
Sinking fund method में.
So
Sinking
you will
fund
be
method.
using sinking fund method in case of
Sale.
capital gain taxation purposes, and CBDT has allowed you to use the sinking fund method.
Sir, please repeat it, sir.
देखिए, सेल में सिंकिंग फंड का कोई कॉन्सेप्ट नहीं होता. वो पैसा अगर इकट्ठा कर रहा है तो अपने लिए करेगा सेलर. तो सेल में सिंकिंग फंड का कॉन्सेप्ट आपको यूज करने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. उसमें आप इस पर्टिकुलर प्रॉब्लम में आप स्ट्रेट लाइन मेथड इस्तेमाल करेंगे, क्योंकि डेप्रिसिएशन उसमें कम आ रहा है तो वैल्यू ज्यादा आएगा. अगर वो अपने लिए बैंक में पैसा इकट्ठा कर रहा है, वो आपको नहीं देने वाला. तो forget about sinking fund method to be used for sale purpose.
For taxation.
Is the logic clear? लॉजिक आपका क्लियर है? जब तक आपको लॉजिक नहीं पता होगा, जब तक आप गड़बड़ करेंगे. और नॉट ओनली फॉर एग्जामिनेशन में ज्यादा फेल होंगे, इससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं होगा. लेकिन अगर आप रेगुलर प्रैक्टिस में ये मेथड इस्तेमाल करते हैं, देन यू कैन बी इन ट्रबल इफ दैट वैल्यूएशन इज चैलेंज्ड इन और इज अंडर लिटिगेशन इन एनी कोर्ट. तो आपको पूरा कैरियर तबाह हो सकता है. तो ऐसी गलती मत करिए. पहले लॉजिक को समझिए, उसके बाद में मेथड इस्तेमाल करिए. अगर ऐसा मेथड आपके अपोनेंट ने या आपके जो दूसरा वैल्यूअर है जो आपके अपोजिट खड़ा है, उसने आपको चैलेंज कर दिया कि आपने ये यहां पर ये कांस्टेंट परसेंटेज मेथड क्यों इस्तेमाल किया, देन यू विल बी इन ट्रबल. यू हैव टू गिव द जस्टिफिकेशन. यस सर, प्लीज कंटिन्यू.
Somya ji, in case of capital gain, what should be the criteria? Replacement rate value should be higher or lower? कैपिटल गेन के केस में क्या होना चाहिए? रिप्लेसमेंट वैल्यू ज्यादा होनी चाहिए कि कम होनी चाहिए? ज्यादा आने से फायदा होगा या कम आने से फायदा?
Less.
हाँ जी,
Higher, sir.
हाईएस्ट आना चाहिए. मैडम, जब आप इंडेक्सिंग करोगे तो इंडेक्सिंग में जब आपकी रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट हायर आएगी तो फिर आपको उतना ही टैक्सेबल गेन कम होगा. ये चीज हम क्लियर हो जाएगी जब हम कैपिटल गेन करेंगे. एज ऑफ नाउ ये प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट टैक्सेबल गेन डिपेंड्स अपॉन इंडेक्सेशन, एंड इंडेक्सेशन तो सेम रहेगी. इंडेक्सेशन जो है, इंडेक्स वैल्यू आपकी सेम रहेगी, और रिप्लेसमेंट वैल्यू जितनी हायर आएगी उतना आपका टैक्सेबल गेन कम आएगा. अब रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट हायर कब आएगी? जब डेप्रिसिएशन मिनिमम होगी. आपने डेप्रिशिएटेड रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट लेनी है, तो डेप्रिसिएशन रिप्लेसमेंट कॉस्ट विल बी हायर व्हेन द डेप्रिसिएशन इज मिनिमम. So you will be using this sinking fund, but remember, you have to define your valuation. How you have chosen 8%? Why not 6%? Why not 4%? This is for you to defend. ओके, एनी डाउट? कोई और डाउट है किसी को तो पूछ सकते।
So normally for taxation point, mostly we consider the straight line method and WDV method.
सर you have been using that method, no worry, but if you are using CBDT, sinking fund method, you will be helping the client, and it is legally permissible. आप ये method use कर सकते हो. CBDT has allowed you to use this sinking fund method. Normally, we have been using straight line or constant percentage method, does not matter. But if you are using sinking fund method, it is legally possible. And in that case, you are also helping your client in some way or the other. कानून के दायरे में रह के आप अपने क्लाइंट की हेल्प कर सकते हो इस मेथड से. क्लियर है? कोई डाउट है तो पूछ.
डाउट सर, स्मॉल डाउट सर. हेलो सर.
जी 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 सर बोलिए.
सर प्रीवियस स्लाइड सर.
हाँ जी.
प्रीवियस, हाँ सर. इन दिस सिंकिंग फंड मेथड ना, IC, for IC calculation, first IC calculation R, R, small r you have taken. I mean, it depends upon our discretion. This one.
Sir, R calculation, you have to choose R. So how R will be chosen, we will be discussing in the coming slides.
Okay.
When we'll be using, we'll be concentrating on other methods also.
In case of yes calculation, here R is taken as 8%.
So here it is given in the question.
Yeah,
8% is
8%. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So for a IC calculation, you know what is a shortcut in Excel. IC कैलकुलेशन के लिए एक्सेल में क्या शॉर्टकट है?
ये बात
PMT. और जो कॉस्ट है वहां पे ₹1 मतलब when he will be asking you future value, you will put ₹1. We will assume we will be calculating it for ₹1. IC. See, mind it here. When you will be calculating PMT, he will be asking you for future value. Okay. And again for S also, PMT will be 1. PMT के केस में फ्यूचर वैल्यू 1 होगी और S के केस में वो पेमेंट पूछता है हर सर कितनी करनी, तो ₹1 पे पुट करोगे आप. ओके. सो this is all about depreciation part. So any doubt about until now?
In sinking fund method, how to fix value of R in relation to FD rate of SBI या nominal जो NBSC या कुछ होता है ना, वो lending rate, तो उसके रिलेशन में कैसा फिक्स करना?
वो सारा कुछ आएगा सर. अभी ये तो सिर्फ आपको बेसिक बताया गया है, लेकिन हम लोग जनरली आईसी को जो है वो 3.5 से 4% तक लेता थे, ज्यादा से ज्यादा 5%. क्योंकि ऐसी क्या सोचा जाता है कि सिंकिंग फंड जो आपने अकोमुलेट करना है वो लॉन्गर पीरियड के लिए करना है, लाइफ ऑफ द बिल्डिंग इज अज्यूम टू बी 60 years, तो उसके केस में कभी रेट बहुत हायर हो जाते हैं, कभी बहुत कम हो जाते हैं। तो एटलीस्ट आप जो 3.5-4% है, कितना भी कम हो जाए बढ़ हो जाए, एटलीस्ट वो रेट ऑफ रिटर्न तो आपको मिलेगा ही ना। तो जो गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड्स पे जो रेट मिलता है वो जनरली हम अज्यूम कर लेते हैं।
नॉर्मली गिल्ट एज सिक्योरिटीज में जो रेट आपको मिलता है वो ही अज्यूम करते हैं, उससे कम नॉर्मली रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट नहीं जाता है फॉर द लॉन्ग रन।
Sir, you are going to teach us capital gain, right?
Yes, sir, we will be doing certain examples for that.
It is a part of syllabus.
It is not part of the syllabus, but sometimes question come from that.
Yes.
Why it is so? I don't understand, but they are asking many times. You may get case studies based upon capital gain.
Yes. It is not mentioned in syllabus, but it is a part of question paper. Many times you may get question related to capital gain during your examination. So it is very necessary to read this chapter and know the facts behind this concept.
Okay, this is all about cost approach. We will be starting with the next approach after we can have, sir, sir, we can have a lunch break so that we can have.
Yes, sir, because it will take too much time. From the time required more than 2 hours for understanding the income approach. So we will take a lunch break here only so that we can be able to continue with the same subject after the lunch break in continuity. So it is around 1 p.m. now. We are going to take a lunch break for 1 hour. Sir, 1 hour sufficient hai?
Okay, sir.
So we will join sharp at 2 p.m. Till then you can leave the meeting and join 5 minutes before starting the class.